Yay, look at us. And now your audio is live, Shawn. And hey, chat, I can see you again. And now we can do our thing. Shawn, I will admit, this is in many ways a good time for us to make this announcement live, like us talk to people about it, because we got a bunch of people watching now. But I will be honest with you. I've thought about this a lot. We wrote that press release. I know that I just like talking with you and it's easy and fun. I did not think a lot about what exactly we were going to say in this particular thing. How should we start doing this? How about first, everyone meet Shawn Speakman. He is a dear friend, and a lovely person. He has helped World Builders for years. He has been very kind to me, and one of the people who I can actually say, as opposed to somebody that I really like or that I wish I could hang out with, or I think what they do is cool. Like I really consider Shawn a friend, which, sorry if that's a weird thing to say on the stream in sort of a revelatory way. But he's a great person, and I'll also let him do a brief intro of himself.
Yeah, I think, one, we've known each other a long time now. I mean, when I met you, you had a short beard and short hair. That's a long time ago, my friend. So yeah, my name's Shawn Speakman. I do a lot of different things. I have been webmaster, writer, editor. I kind of wear a lot of hats, and they're all fun hats to wear. So yeah, I've been webmaster for Terry Brooks and Naomi Novik for a very long time. I've worked for Random House, and now I own Grim Oak Press, which is why we are here today.
Yeah. So I'll say this: when I first met Shawn, he was doing something called the Signed Page, which was a cool way for people who say, like, if an author does a book tour, I can almost tell you, like, in order if they're only going to hit 3 cities, I can tell you what cities they'll hit and what stores they'll go to. If they only do like 5 cities, I can tell you what cities those are in order and which bookstores they'll go to. But if you don't live in Seattle, New York, Washington, D.C., Phoenix, Arizona, I can really kind of Portland,
Denver. Yep.
Then you don't have a chance to go and get your book signed. So we do some of that, of course, on the World Builders page, but Shawn was doing it first and better in his online store called The Signed Page, because people would hit Seattle, they would do a signing there, and Shawn would be there, and he would help people all around the country or all around the world get a nice signed book. And then, like, how exactly did that turn from you, like getting books signed and selling them, to running your own small press?
Yeah, I blame you. I do. I mean, not in the direct way that you would think. If you remember, on, I think it was February 28th or 29th of 2011, when Wise Man's Fear was about to come out, you came over and signed 1,500 books.
Wow.
Of that book. And that's how many people pre-ordered that book. And I spent the next 3 weeks of my life crying because I was having to ship out all of those books.
By hand, if I remember correctly.
By hand, by myself. It was, it's a good problem to have. And then literally a couple months later, I was diagnosed with cancer. So I blame all the stress of shipping those books out. No, I kid. I jest. Cancer is nothing to joke at, for sure. but no, I was diagnosed with cancer. I was one of those people who fell through the cracks in the American health insurance business, for lack of a better word. I really, I couldn't get health insurance because I had a pre-existing condition. And so I was denied roundly every year for a very long time. And then I got cancer again. And it was a different cancer. It wasn't even the original cancer. It was a different cancer. So I had to figure out a way. I could declare medical bankruptcy, and that would have been the easy way out, but I've never been that sort of person. And rather than do that, I thought, you know what, I can do something unique here. And I talked to my friend Terry Brooks, the author of the Shanra series, and I said, can you donate me a short story that I could sell online to keep these bill collectors at bay until I can figure this out? And he said, I can definitely do that. But you know a lot of writers. Why don't you reach out to somebody else and reach out to everybody, right? And my second email was actually to you.
Because really?
I knew, yes, it was. Because I knew to already kind of become friends. And 3, I knew that your name would help bring other people on board. And so with you and Terry kind of in that Unfettered,
so
that's how Unfettered started.
Hold on for
all
one.
These wonderful people came together in the.
Yep. Hold on for 1 sec. Is somebody formatting floppies on your computer, or maybe torrenting an entire movie in another part of the house? Because you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, let me see if I can change my.
It's my guess would be just if you have a bandwidth issue somewhere in the house. Maybe because normally I Zoom with you all the time and I never have this problem. It's just that if somebody is having, say, a LAN party downstairs, maybe just give a quick shout.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me see.
Because honestly, I've heard. I guess I was around for a lot of this story, but I don't want to miss any parts of it either, folks.
It's a good story about the science fiction community at large.
Cool.
Let me see if somebody's streaming something in my house that shouldn't be. I'll be right back. You can show a new video.
Oh, I could. Actually, I'll talk a little bit about what Shawn does. What he does now is it's called Grim Oak Press, and it started with a couple of other of little projects, and now he does things like this. I mean, if you're a fan of the Dresden Files, look at this beautiful book. And not only that's not even the book. The book is more beautiful still. Sorry, I'm showing off your coolness. And this isn't just a slipcase. This is a cool, like, protective clamshell. Anyway, so go ahead with the rest of your story, Shawn.
Well, if this will work, nobody's streaming in my house, so I'm like, oh gosh, is it just one of those days?
Oh, it looks like somebody says there is a big storm in California, so it could just be good old-fashioned infrastructure to the internet. Yep.
Well, anyway, so I with your help and all these writers' help, I put together Unfettered, which is an anthology that helped pay off my medical debt, and it did that. Between Unfettered and my first urban fantasy, The Dark Thorn, all that together got rid of the bill collectors. I didn't have to declare medical bankruptcy. It was a wonderful thing. And it was just kind of testament to the power that the geek community has. We rally around people who need help.
Yep.
And so then when you started World Builders, I felt very honored and comfortable about helping that cause, because it's my way to pay things forward. And over the years, I've helped other authors get rid of their medical debt, or sometimes it's dental debt. Actually, I've given away more money towards dental debt, because dental is not part of medical insurance plans usually.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
So anyway, so that started it. And then I had Brandon Sanderson tell me one time after Unfettered, I didn't know what the direction I was going to take Grim Oak. And Brandon told me, well, Shawn, you'd be really dumb not trying to help other people, because you've been given a very, very powerful platform now. And so over the years, Grim Oak has evolved from, taking care of my medical debt to helping other people with their debt, and then also producing some beautiful books. So, and that's why we're here today.
It is. And so now part 2 of this story, I'll tell you all, back in the day, and I don't know who among you has ever seen a copy of Digger. I picked it up, couldn't tell you where. I love me a comic, and I love me a nice beefy read. And so, and I've enjoyed Ursula Vernon's stuff. So I found this, bought it, read it, loved it, then gave it to a friend, because you don't lend a book, you give a book. And then I went to replace it, and I couldn't. And it's like, could not, like, and normally if a book goes out of print, there's other copies around, like you can get from a third-party seller, or, I can even go down the dark path to Amazon or whatever. But like, there were copies of the omnibus, and it was like $300, $400, $600. And I'm like, what is going on? And luckily, over the years, like, I know people's emails, like, and so it wasn't that hard. Actually, I think it wasn't even an email. I went on Twitter and I pinged Ursula, and I'm like, hey, what's up with your book? Did a publisher go out of print or something? Because, over the years, there's been a couple books that I've really loved that just aren't in print anymore. Right. And so I reached out to her, and she's like, yeah, it's with somebody, but it's really expensive to reprint it. And then they have to warehouse them. And I was like, huh. And I go, well, because when I did the princess books, the Adventures of the Princess and Mr. Whiffle, Subterranean Press did a print run and sold out, and then did something they rarely do, which is another print run, because people wanted more, and they sold those. And then they're like, we're done. Like, this is a lot of books where we do specialty editions. And so then I started getting those reprinted and selling them in the World Builders market. And so that's where people could come, and World Builders, kept the lights on with some of that money. And so World Builders had both produced and sold books that had gone out of print before. And we'd also helped out more recently an author named Kanan, who, if I'd been smart, I would have brought his books here too. It's a great comic called Max Overacts. I don't know if I ever sent it to you. It's the only comic I've ever read that I feel is as good as Calvin and Hobbes. And my boys, my older boy especially, read it. But then turns out he got cancer, and he was just self-publishing this beautiful comic. And so World Builders helped him print it. Now we ship it for him and stuff like that. So anyway, everybody, it was sort of a long journey from like, hey, Ursula, can World Builders do your book? To like, and then I'm like, maybe I should bring in somebody who's really good at doing books to help me do a book. To, hey, if I'm doing this, like, hold on, am I publishing a book? And if I'm publishing a book, maybe, am I a sort of editor? And it's like, because, and here's the thing, everybody, I've always had a little dream of starting a publishing imprint. And for those of you that don't know the industry language, like a publishing house, like Penguin or Houghton Mifflin or Del Rey, those are publishing houses, and they publish books. But also sometimes you have a publishing house and then they start a little mini place inside themselves, and then they call themselves Ace Books or something. And or what happens is you have a publishing house and then they eat a little publisher.
That's more likely what
It's
happens.
more likely what happened. It eats
Yeah.
the publisher, and then it's like, well, now you're an imprint of us. And that can be good or bad. But, what it means is that an imprint is a place that publishes books. It has its own editor, its own sort of style and theme. But so I'm going to start a publishing imprint with Shawn, because Shawn makes beautiful books and I trust him and I like him. And somebody here is like, want to pick up my book as your first? No. I mean, no offense. But like, it all started with this. And so we're going to reprint Digger, because like this book won the Hugo, folks. Like, and Ursula's a great writer, and this comic is beautiful. The reason it took me a while to find it is because I had it somewhere and my boy has read it a bunch and loves it. And then he came and got it off my shelf and took it somewhere else to read it. So we're going to do this. And that's just the beginning. And you see the little, in between the picture of Shawn and I there, I've spent kind of a silly amount of time. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I've spent kind of a silly amount of time working on this logo. And that's going to be what you'll see on the spine of the books for Underthing Press.
It's legitimate. You actually had a logo created.
And Shawn knows. Shawn's known me so long. I've wanted to have a logo for Eladin Enterprises for a long time, and like genuinely failed. Like I have taken the World Builders logo through many iterations over the year, to the point where I'm like, I really love it and I feel it's good. But this Underthing Press, we've done a lot of work on getting it right, because it will look good on the spine of a book. And people are desperately slacking me bigger pictures of this so I can share it, which is fair. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do this. It is a little tricky because I got to add a whole new thing. Image.
I just think it's a perfect representation of the Underthing.
I mean, this is
for something that needs to stamp clean and nice on a book.
Yeah. This is a very specific, purposeful. This is something that is meant to exist in a place, but also it's like, it's pretty. It's gonna look nice on a letterhead. Okay, give me a sec though. I'm still. See, this is the sort of stream that a lot of my people are used to, which is me sorting out technical issues.
Yeah.
So here is a bigger version of the logo. Underthing Press.
Look at that. It's gorgeous.
And again, Nate Taylor works magic. And
what's funny about Nate is that even though we are now partnering and we are working together, I have hired Nate multiple times over the years, to the point where you always say, "Stop stealing my cartoonist, my my artist, my friend. Stop stealing him."
Yep.
He's done very good work for Grim Oak already, so it's kind of fun that we get to play around some more.
Yeah, Nate does good work. Well, and it's funny, Nate, you mention, you say me stop stealing my cartoonist. Of course, Nate is much more than a cartoonist. He's an illustrator. He's an artist in his own right.
Yep.
However, in this particular instance, he is my cartoonist because, and this is relevant to the Underthing Press announcement, like one of the very next books Underthing Press is going to be doing is going to be the Boy That Loved the Moon, the comic I've been working on with Nate for years and years and years and years. So I think here, like, and a lot of people in the chat are already saying, oh, how do I, you know, how can I sign up to buy this book or all of that? What we have in the chat here is we're going to have a mailing list. And so you can, I think there is a link in the chat to where you can go and sign up for the Underthing mailing list. I'll be posting that up in my blog too, now that the news is out. And when that happens, like when we finally like launch, and they can also go sign up for the Grim Oak newsletter because again, we're partners here. And so again, there's a link to the Underthing mailing list. That's going to be very much like, hey, now is the time to order a book. We're not going to fill your inbox with a bunch of crap. Trust me.
Exactly.
So
even with Grim Oak's newsletter, we send it out maybe twice a month, and that's only if we have major news to announce. So yeah. So you can go to grimoakpress.com and go to the bottom of the page in the footer, and there's the sign up for the newsletter there. But yeah, sign up for both.
So yeah, that is the exciting news. Now, there is actually more exciting news than that because somebody here in the chat said, here we go. Is Underthing Press going to reprint books that are out of print? Do you have any other books in mind that you're going to do a reprint run aside from Digger? Yes, like literally, yes. I honestly, I have 3 that I am specifically thinking of. However, we have not sealed those deals yet. And so it is very bad form, not to say nothing of bad luck, to jump in and say, hey, I'm doing, like I want to get a hold of the rights to these books and I said so online. Then it's sort of like saying, hey, boy, I want to register this URL. By the time you get to do it, somebody else might have gotten there first.
That's the problem.
Yeah. That's the problem. So now part of this will be me bringing books that I love back to light. Actually, that'd be a good tagline. Underthing Press, bringing beautiful books back to light. I am spun up in terms of like promotional stuff right now. At the end of the fundraiser, I know you are. Everything is a catchphrase. So we're gonna do that. Obviously, I'm gonna do some of my projects here. Like The Boy That Loved the Moon is gonna be an entirely new comic that's beautiful. Nate and I have been working on it literally for years. And so that's going to happen. Some other out of print books, but also there's some books that personally I dearly love and I hate that like nobody ever has made a fancy version of them.
Exactly.
You're
kind of doing how I started Grim Oak when I started thinking about what books do I want to do. Of course, I went to the books that I grew up loving first.
Yep.
And I'm still producing the books that I grew up loving, and that's my thing. This is Underthing Press is your chance.
Right.
to do the same exact thing. And everybody that's watching this stream, like, you're going to want to get in on the ground level on this when it comes to like Digger and the books that are coming soon, because having a full set of Underthing Press is pretty cool. I know a lot of my customers are going to be all over that.
Yeah, it's so it will be not really, not really Pat Rothfuss presents. That sounds like a weird
Yeah,
masterpiece theater sort of
it
thing.
does. It totally does.
I would need to sit in like a burgundy armchair and wear a waistcoat, I think.
Oh, stretch goal.
Oh, God. That'd be a very different logo. Every time I look over here, I love this. I love the Underthing Press logo, but it's between us, Shawn. I don't want this to come between our friendship. Instead, I'm going to put it maybe over here in the corner. I don't want to cover up BEs. I don't want to cover up.
No, cover up my face, Pat. Come on.
We'll switch back and forth. We'll start by covering up me. So yeah, that's the news, everybody. And I have done it sort of. I love that, like, you sort of told your story and then I told my story, and this is where we're ending up. I would love. Let's keep the. Thank you, Black Wings, for keeping that URL there so that people can get in and sign up. Now, of course, I'm going to also put the link to the newsletter on the website. I'll be talking about it in the future, but get in early so you don't forget. The other thing, and what I did want to do is say, yes, we will ship worldwide, guaranteed, because we always. And here's the other thing: one of the authors, and just to let you know, Shawn, like, sort of what books I like, and that I'm kind of reaching out to some people, and also that I'm not going to make any promises without talking to you first. But I was talking to one of them, and they said, "Yeah, if we do this, can you make sure that like that it doesn't cost like that the cheapest version of the book doesn't cost like $150?" Right. And I'm like, "Oh, absolutely. Absolutely." And I loved that she said that, because like whenever I do a Kickstarter, whenever I make something for World Builders Market, whenever we do something like that, what we do is we we make sure that there's a way to buy in that is as affordable and accessible to everyone as possible. It doesn't matter who you are. If you love books and you want to have kind of a nice copy of a book that you love, I want you to have access to that. Now, there's certain economic things going on too, like, because for a long list of reasons that actually involves like timber barons and reefer madness, paper is freaking expensive, and because it is hard to get things printed in the United States because of many different social and economic factors. It's expensive to print in the US, which nevertheless I prefer to do because I want to use union labor. I want acid-free paper. I don't want to sell you a book that is going to fall apart in 10 years, or the binding will crack, or that it was made by slave labor somewhere in like Fredonia, or that you turn the pages and you die from cobalt poisoning, because there's no oversight in factory work there. Oh, that's great news. My 15-month-old was diagnosed with cancer, and last week she finally got a clean biopsy. Huzzah.
Aww.
I'll take that good news. Good news.
Good job, Cassandra. I love that.
Nobody appreciates that news like people who have had multiple brushes, right?
Yes, absolutely. Plus, no 15-year-old should ever have to go through that. Oh my gosh.
I know. I don't want it. Well, actually, it's worse than that. It said 15-month-old, which I'm going to kind of.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to just kind of skirt my brain around the edge of that because I got kids. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm above crying, but I did not come onto this particular stream to have a cry.
Yeah.
We'll save that for the World Builders after party when we're all exhausted and celebrating how much money we have made to make the world a better place.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we will be printing these in the U.S. for sure, and we will have an edition that is price worthy, for lack of a better word. I have the German word preiswert in my head, and that's what it is. You know,
is that the German? What's the German term?
I think it's preiswert. I think I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I took a lot of German back in the day, so a lot of Deutsch. But no, actually, even like the Terry Brooks Scions of Shanra, which we're actually just turning in our files to the printer tomorrow. For that book, we did we listened to his readers and what they wanted, and we did a $50 version that's still illustrated, but it's black and white illustrated, as opposed to the $150 one that is full color plates tipped in.
Yeah, getting those color plates
one, you have the
nuts.
150. Yeah, so it helps. It helps everybody be able to partake, and that's definitely something you and I both are on the same page about.
Yep, that's exactly it. So hold on, I've been peeking in the chat to see other things, but apparently
I'm seeing some numbers in there.
Yeah, I'm seeing some numbers. Apparently we're right on the oh no we're already at 650. Good job, yay, but god damn it, I haven't had a chance to play Minecraft. Now I gotta cough up 2 of the favor rings because I haven't beaten the Ender Dragon yet.
I love you guys. I think this is amazing. Putting Pat on a hot seat is awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. No, do it. Good. Don't not donate, because that's what we're here for. But also, no offense, Shawn, but as soon as we're done with this queue, I'm gonna get in there and start doing. It's 6666 is going to be where we bring in the all of the geek glitterati to do a big group reading. Guess who I've got already, Shawn?
I want to know.
Homestar Runner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know the brothers chaps, and so I'm like, this is a weird thing. Do you want to? And he's like, oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Right in the wheelhouse.
Yep. So come and read with that accent. But how about this? We do have about 15 minutes left in the stream. But if you guys have any questions, now again, I've had some people like, what about this book? What about this book? Here's the thing. I've actually seen some people mention some of the books that I do want to bring back. So good job knowing me and what I like, but yep. I will neither confirm nor deny. So
me too. I will. Mum is the word.
Yep. So yeah. So what am I going to do here? Yeah. So, any questions, but again, specifically as it relates to this particular announcement, I know I just got everybody real excited about Trogdor. We're not talking about Trogdor. And also because that's how I roll, a portion of what Underthing makes will go towards World Builders, and so that will also help World Builders be sustainable. Now, the thing is, I want to say what I've always said, which is half of whatever, Underthing makes will go to World Builders. I'm hesitant to say that definitively because I worry that if I say half and then people are like, what do you mean half? And I'm like, 50%. They're like, net or gross? And I'm like, net. And they're like, well, then what is considered a reasonable expense? And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Can you just trust me? Right? If I didn't want to do good work, I would just keep that money for myself and actually buy new clothes or something. Right?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat right now, and I'm seeing some of the people talking, and I'm like, oh, these are our people, aren't they?
They really are. These are my people. Why did I
I will
choose?
say, we go after the things we like the next book that, the last book that got turned into the printer is Tail Chaser's Song by Tad Williams. You're in the same publishing house as Tad.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
we're doing Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn after this, and
Yep.
that's, so nobody say that in the chat because it's already happening.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit, as soon as I was like, hold on, wait, I don't just have to bring, I can do my favorite books. And then I went online, I'm like, God, you already did Spinning Silver. And
Yes.
I was because I missed that when it came out. I was very salty that first that I missed it, and then that you had already done it.
Did you bid on that auction? I have to ask you, did you bid on that auction yourself?
In the interest of, I'm going to plead the 13th.
Okay, do it. Plead the 13th. That's fine.
I can't plead the 13th because the 13th is women's suffrage.
Okay, do that.
But I will say, I not only bid on that auction, I bid so much on that auction that it would have taken like like Elon Musk would have had to come in and fight me for that copy of Spinning Silver that you donated to World Builders. So World Builders got some of my money. Aside from my time and my energy and my promotion, whatever, World Builders took a little bit out of the boys' college fund.
Oh no, oot for oot. Anyway. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I haven't been looking for any questions here. I guess I should be looking at the chat.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, we're getting a ton of donations, so thank you everyone for donating.
Here's a good question that I kind of want to address.
Yeah.
For the international folks. Will these Underthing Press books make their way into Europe, especially the Netherlands? So, if you don't mind me answering.
No, hit it.
I have an idea to try to reduce the cost of shipping. I'm working with a company in the UK right now, and the UK is kind of fuzzy anyway because of Brexit and all that, how that's played out. But I think we're very close to kind of signing a deal that would help out, at least cut some of that cost. So. And the same might be true for Australia too. I'm looking into that right now. So
yeah, it's so rough. I mean,
we would have to ship a pallet of books over, to reduce the price down. And then there's worries about that, a forklift hitting the boxes, and then nerve-wracking.
But here's the thing, Shawn, like in the World Builders market, we deal with similar things. Like people are like, hey, I would love to buy X, and we're like, cool, and they're like, oh wow, what a beautiful mug. It's only $45, handmade, Aeolian money goes to charity, great. And then they want it shipped to Uzbekistan, and they're like, shipping's $65, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it literally costs us that much to send it to you. So we're looking for ways around that too, and I've been talking to I don't know if the Brink Literary Charity ended up on your radar at all. They just did a cool literary tarot thing. They blew the doors off with like an $800,000 tarot Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think Terry was a part of that. He designed the Peter Pan card, I think.
Oh, is he the one that snagged Peter Pan?
I think.
Yeah. But that was. They are shipping all over the world too, and they've got a good logistics. I have now a bunch of good logistics people.
Oh, good.
And so like me and you can talk. Maybe somebody here said, well, why don't you just print the books in Europe? Here's the thing. That's a fair idea. But also let me say to everyone, if this was easy, we would have already done it. Like, it's not easy, and we are still trying to do it. But it is not easy. We would love to be able to do it. I mean, if nothing else, I knew a really great bookstore because somebody mentioned the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, where like they had me in for a signing before I was anyone. And like, if nothing else, we could ship out of that bookstore. Like we could say, hey, do you want to be the person that ships to Europe for us? I don't know, but me
Yeah.
and you can try to crack that nut.
Yeah, quality control is always a thing with me and with Grim Oak. We are very careful with our quality control. We never ship a book out that's not pristine.
Yeah.
And it's hard giving up quality control because to somebody else, it's
Yeah.
very difficult.
Oh no. And I used to use your stuff from the signed page to train up my people at at what we called then the Tinker's Packs. And I'd hold it up and I'd be like, look at this book. Like, not only is it beautiful, but when it shows up, like the way that it is wrapped shows that this person loves books and they have cared for your book.
That's right.
That's what we want to do. We want everyone to who gets their package from us to be like, oh, they love books too. Oh, they care about us. Oh, they are careful and considerate. And so that's what we always strive for. And it's kind of important even before COVID or supply lines broke down. Like, man, people who are delivery drivers, they have hard lives. And also sometimes maybe they are on hard drugs because the things they do to packages.
Yes.
Hoofa-doof. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my business partners, Jeff and Becky, they run the warehouse, and they are amazing at what they do. And they took my standard and actually improved upon it.
Dang.
So that they're good at what they do. So we will figure that out for sure. Yeah. Here's a good question. If it ever came up that Grim Oak and Underthing both had a chance to do a popular book, how would you decide which property gets the rights?
We're already doing that, everybody.
We are. Yeah, well, first of all, I would kick Pat in the slushy.
In the slushy, that's a good opening move, my dude. Like, that's come in.
Throw the gauntlet down.
Throw down the gauntlet, kick him in the slushy. Jesus Christ.
No, we will find out an amicable way of dealing with that. Yes.
It's the nice thing, this is not. I am lucky, because I have learned a rule that I think I now get to live by. And I think it is life is too short to do business with people who aren't friends.
I agree.
Or how about this? Maybe not business, because I would do business with some people I wouldn't consider friends, but projects with people who aren't friends, because projects are more than just business. Yeah. So I am also startled by your casual use of gauntlet, Shawn. Like, oh my God. My boys, Oot said gauntlet the other night because I showed him the clip of me cracking Aaron up.
Well, it was funny.
I said, boys, hey, we're going to do something else. And I know we want to go watch a YouTube video. Can I show you the most I have laughed in years? Like, it was so silly. And I showed them, and so the word gauntlet stuck in their head.
It's going to be in the OED sometime soon.
Oh my God. That's the other thing. I need to get my copy of the OED. I've been putting it off for years. Okay. So last chance, everybody. We've got a couple minutes left. For you to ask a couple of questions about Underthing Press. I want to do good books. I want to make them beautiful. I want these to be books that you will pass to your children, that you will give to somebody at a wedding. I want it to be a book that if you haven't heard of it before, you will buy it knowing that it's beautiful, not just in the way it is produced, not just as a physical thing in the world. It is a beautiful book in that, like, the art that it is wondrous, and I'm not saying they'll all be the same, not saying they'll all be beautiful for the same reason.
Yep.
But, it will be a book that I just don't kind of like. It'll be a book that, like, I'm ready to kick Shawn in the gauntlet to publish, to mix a horrifyingly obscure in-joke metaphor.
I will say, there's let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, how about you look for another question?
Sure.
And I'll update people. I have 2 anthologies coming out next year that I want to talk about briefly.
Sure. Somebody says, can you do a subscription service so we can get every book that comes out? That sounds like a great idea. Can we do that, Shawn?
We have thought about it. Over the years. A couple of years ago, we actually revisited that idea. And there's some good people doing it out there, and we like how they're doing it. It is on our radar for sure.
I mean, how about this? Because you've got your thing and your people,
right?
But if we're spinning ours up from scratch, maybe we can do a test case to start with that and see how that goes. Because I would love that. I know, honestly, with some of your stuff, you know, when I found out that you were doing the Beautiful Butcher books, and I'm like, oh no, now I've got to, you know, I think that's when I signed up for your mailing list. Sorry, I wasn't already on it. But I'm like, oh, how did I miss this? It's that
honesty burns.
Yeah,
honesty burns.
Yeah. I mean, you would be very flattered knowing. I mean, maybe I was already signed up for the mailing list, but you would be flattered seeing the other unread emails that you are in company with. You know, like the more I want to read an email, the less I do. Oh, but you want to talk about your anthologies? Do that real quick.
I just want to talk just really quick about, because I told people that I would do this. So this is actually the next book that will publish wide distribution. You can see that.
Ooh.
As a Diana Gabaldon.
Oh.
So this is John Joseph Adams' new anthology. John and I met at a WorldCon a couple of years ago and hit it right off. And I said, hey, whenever you put together an anthology that you think would work for Grim Oak, why don't you ping me and talk to me? And that was bar talk. I didn't expect it would happen. And literally 2 months later, I got an email from John saying, how about this idea? And I got this lineup. And it's a great lineup. I mean, it has, Shauna McGuire and Kate Elliott, and has a great diverse lineup, and it's great. So definitely check out Lost Worlds and Mythological Kingdoms. And then Unbound 2 is coming out in June. And Unbound 2 has a powerhouse lineup, 2 of which I can't talk about yet. No, not Pat.
Not me.
Not Pat. I'll say that right now. It's not Pat. I'll be posting more details about that soon, so be on the lookout for Unbound 2. And then somebody asked about my book too. My book, this is how bad the delays in printing are. Here's my new book. I'm going to be that shill right now, and I'm going to throw this up.
It's a pretty book.
It's a pretty book. It's the first book of a new set.
Who did that cover, if you don't mind my asking?
Todd Lockwood did that.
It looked like Lockwood, yeah.
And it's gorgeous. Todd and I have been friends a long time. He always turns in really, really good work. But it's cross between Dune and Star Wars. So if you can wrap your head around that, you can wrap your head around anything. But somebody asked in the chat, where's my book? I ordered it on Amazon. The printing delays on this book have murdered me. It was supposed to be out in September. So that shows you right there the delays that are going on in the book industry. And then the printer, for whatever reason, decided not to print the barcode on the back. So that held it up even more.
So did you have to put a sticker on every single one?
After I proofed it with the barcode. So then Ingram distributors had to go in and do it by hand. So anyway, but that's all done now. It's coming out in January officially. So I think it's January 25th. So the person, Diagolette, which I love that name. I might steal that for something.
Yeah. Somebody in here brought up Terry Windling's fairy tale series. I love Terry Windling. That's oof. But again, so we can't this isn't a brainstorming session for what we're going to do, because if, first off, it's a little rude. For me and Shawn to say, oh, who we should publish? Neil Gaiman. And then Neil Gaiman's like, yeah, ask me. But don't talk that's rude, right?
That's rude.
Because if you're like, oh, it'd be cool is if Neil Gaiman, did this, it would really help the charity and would start that's shitty. We're not going to do that, right?
No.
Neil, call me. But
hi, Neil.
Hi, Neil. but we shouldn't do that with anyone, because the courteous thing before I call a publisher that owns the rights, I ping the author and I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this thing. Is that anything you're interested in? And if not, no worries. I know you're busy, whatever. But only if the author is interested do I then like pick it up with the publisher, and then only if the publisher, then I bring it to Shawn. So
Yep, there's a whole way that this goes about.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a ladder. You just got to take every rung to get to the top.
Yep. And boy, oh boy, there's contracts, everyone.
There is.
There's a lot of contracts. In conclusion, because we're running a little past here. In conclusion, Shawn is great. I'm okay.
Pat is great.
Underthing Press I'm again saying an imprint to people in publishing. They're like, oh shit, you're doing an imprint. Right. They get it, but everyone else is like, eh. But to say I am starting a publishing house is a vast overstatement. Or to say I am going to start publishing books is wrong. But it's like, how about this? We're having a superhero team up. I want to bring back beautiful books. I want to make beautiful books more beautifuler. That's going to also be our tagline. Underthing Press, making beautiful things beautifuler.
Yes, I love it.
Put that on a t-shirt. But anyway, thank you so much, Shawn. Thank you,
Thank
chat.
you, Pat. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be so much fun. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah. And good job reading that prologue, man. It was great.
You know, Pat Rothfuss doesn't do 2 takes. I'm not a professional narrator, but like that prologue, I have buffed and polished it. It is smooth like glass. But even so, before I printed it out, I did change like 6 words in it before I printed it out for today.
So you wrote in book 3 today?
I did. Yeah,
you did.
But you know, I did make it all the way through, and without like stuttering or saying anything a little. And I'm like, I felt good about that. That was a good one.
Good. And you raised a shit ton of money today for
right?
So good.
Like,
and all you guys out there in the chat, well done.
Everybody. Also, you know, like, I think we have blown through all of our previous stretch goals. So like now, instead of, I mean,
Aaron's in a corner right now, rocking back and forth, trying to.
I mean, mostly. Here's the thing. I think we're just gonna sort of celebrate more and more money, but I should find something to put up for bigger, better, more if we're about to pass 666. Any ideas, Shawn?
999.
Well, no, it's like the numbers are the easy part. It's no, Aaron wants to do a second panel about the Fast and the Furious, and I think he has something. He's got a medical condition. Oh, you know, the Peasant Quest playthrough. Yes. Cooking in Temerant cuisine, King Killer cuisine with Trisha Birdie. We'll do that. We pulled that off the original. So let's do that. I'm not going to get a tattoo on stream. Nope. But anyway, Shawn, I'm not going to keep you here for this particular flavor of madness.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Pat. And keep donating. There's the rest of today?
We have the end of the fundraiser ends tonight. And then tomorrow is the after party. And the after party is when we sort of like relax and we lay back and we celebrate and we enjoy ourselves and we still gather and hang out on the stream and people you can still come in. The party's over, but we're still here. So you can still donate. You can still be a part of it in case maybe you showed up later, you had to work, you know?
Right.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Good work, sir. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.